Good evening everyone, welcome to the Activity Hub. Bali presents the V8 Supercar Oval Series, coming to you from Las Vegas Speedway. I'm your host tonight, Stuart Brown. We are back on the air after a week's gap with the V8 Supercar Oval Series here, and excited to be back up and running. We've got a pretty good field with us tonight, 17 cars on track, just currently concluding the 45-minute practice session that takes place before we get into qualifying. A two-lap qualifying format for the cars here. It is a closed circuit qualifying format, so the cars will be out on track solo. We'll see who is going to take us away for this evening. A few changes to the series as well, as they continue to try and improve things here. So, gone away from the heat format that they were running here with 25 and 50 lap. I should say at lap 25 and lap 50. Being the critical laps for the drivers to get something done there, and not doing that anymore. Just a little bit too difficult to administer with the way that iRacing runs things. So we've gone to a flat 100 lap race here tonight, 30 seconds a lap. So we'll be with you for around about 50 minutes or so. We'll have the race drivers on the podium with us in the combox afterwards, as we just get into our 5-minute open qualifying session. So what we're looking for here is the purple sectors down the bottom of the screen when they start coming up. We won't see any yet, as we are just doing the qualifying segments just starting, so they'll come up as the drivers do their thing. So let's put up best time across the screen there. And Alan Cole, welcome. Yes, certainly first comment for this evening, and welcome to the stream. For those of you out there, do give it a like, give it a share, and let everyone know what you're watching on this Sunday evening as we get into qualifying here. On board at the moment with Greg Spence, who is the first of our drivers to commence their flying laps. So we'll stick with Greg for the minute and see what he can pull out. A couple of drivers from overseas join us again this evening. So John Murphy in the number 70 Brown Falcon, and we've got Derek Jacobs in the number 4 Commodore as well, coming to us from the early hours of an American good morning. Did miss all the action last week, but I'm sure there would have been plenty. It's a series that doesn't disappoint. So Sean Hurley, they're actually going at the top of the list with a 32.34. Greg Spencer with a 32.38. Second lap here will be the fastest, as a number of the drivers start putting through laps now. Need to see some of our front runners get out and about. So Michael Skurlock on board with him at the moment in that chrome looking Commodore that he runs. Justin Witcher just going faster there as well with a 32.29. So we'll see these lap times probably drop away in the race at around about 2 seconds or so over the period. Drivers with 3 sets of tyres to manage across the race. So we'll probably see certainly a couple of pit stops, yellow flag or caution periods. A little bit more notable in the oval track racing than in circuit racing, so there'll be opportunities there for the drivers to make their way through. Of course, the series also runs what they call a joker car, so the car that is a lap down, but the leading car that is a lap down does get a freebie, drive their way through under a caution period and move their way up to the front and back around to unlap themselves. So that will always play into it. No blue flags in oval racing either, so the drivers not having to let any of the faster cars through if they are coming up on them. Always Michael Skurlock there hits the wall, badly damaging that Commodore, so his lap is done. But fortunately that was after the conclusion of his qualifying, so he actually is in second place at the moment with a 32.32. Just shy of pole position. It was a 32.29. Derek Jacobs comes across the line on his first lap for a 32.49. Just about to finish his second in the Rusty's sponsored Commodore. And just checking on that one, it looks like not able to improve there with a 32.7. So that shows his night, as far as qualifying is concerned, over. Raymond Jaeger we're on board with now. He's just finished his second fastest lap, which was a 32.47. So again, not able to improve. So majority of the drivers, fastest lap is fast. Fastest lap, well done. The first lap is their fastest lap, as we just try and get back into the groove of things here. So you'll have to just bear with us while we do that. But that does conclude our qualifying session. All drivers having completed 2 laps. Barry Neal's in pit lane. He's only done 1 lap, but I believe he has done everything he's going to do in this qualifying session. So we're just over halfway through the season for V8 Supercar Oval Series, concluding late December. And none of the racing's been boring, I can tell you that much, in terms of passing opportunities and accidents and a whole heap of stuff. So a really, really good one here as we jump onto the grid. So let's get up on the screen our grid and have a look at who is where, or who's who in the zoo, as my English teacher used to say way back in second form. So we've got Justin Witcher and Michael Skurlock on the front row here. Sean Hurley and Raymond Jaeger taking out row 2. We've got Greg Spencer and Aidan Schultz on row 3, with Stephen Williams and John Murphy row 4 all the way out of Indiana. Derek Jacobs, our other driver from overseas, jumping in with Steve Payne off row 5, Nigel Payton and Michael Shaw off row 6. And as we flick this one over, we've then got Gary Wellman and Christopher Finlay off row 7, Paul Jackson, Barry Neal off row 8, and Steve Hoppett bringing up the tail of the field for this one tonight as we get started on behalf of Activity Hub Bali. So if you are planning on heading to Bali, Activity Hub Bali, the place to go in terms of getting an understanding of what you should do, where you should go. It can help you with your bookings. Obviously, with the lockdown, very difficult for them at the moment, but once things open up again, be the way to go. Just waiting here for the cars to get on the grid in complete setup. Still waiting for Michael Skurlock to jump in as well, maybe making some final changes in terms of fuel and what have you. And there he is there, jumping into the screen. This is a fixed setup category, so all the drivers running the same car setups here, with the exception, I believe, of brake bias. And of course, the fuel tanks are limited, 110 litres normally, but capacity limited here. So that will play into pit strategy as well. So we get away for our warm-up lap. Set 100 laps here. So with us for the next 50 or so minutes, depending on how many caution periods we have. Hopefully not too many. Julie in the room as well. Welcome, Julie. Thanks for joining the stream. G'day Jake, thanks for joining the stream as well and your question. So this is the V8 Supercar Oval Series, so put on by Activity Hub Bali. It's a fixed series where the drivers obviously running the V8 Supercar, the legacy V8 Supercar, VF, Commodore and the Falcon. And yeah, running a little bit of NASCAR style setup here as well as we go green and get underway with our feature race for this evening. It is Justin Witcher and Michael Skurlock getting us underway here at Las Vegas under lights as it should be, as we settle in for one of 100 laps. So no phases tonight, just a straight 100 lap shootout. We've got a good solid field, very, very close in qualifying as well, so expect to see some good pack racing for a majority of it tonight. So just jump onto the Facebook page for the league, V8 Supercar Oval Series, and they'll be able to get you involved. Actually, what I can do for you, it's actually Full Throttle is what you're looking for, Jake. I'll put a link into the description. In fact, I believe there is one in there, but it's just V8 Supercar Oval Series on Facebook if you are looking to join. No worries at all, Jake. Thanks for joining the stream as we're under lights but underway here. It is Justin Witcher and Michael Skurlock battling it out for the lead. This will be pretty much what we'll be seeing most of the evening, along with Raymond Yeager there as well. John Murphy's generally a consistent performer here. Watch for him to move his way up to the front pack. Drivers running tonight. This is actually the first time we've done an outright run for the 100 laps in the last 4 or 5 weeks. The race organiser really wanted to try and emulate that phase style racing, but the software iRacing just not quite able to get it done. Which has meant that they haven't been able to put on the show that they wanted to. So I'll work on that through the off-season, no doubt, as we're already through 5 laps here. Oh yeah, Jack, we saw that was on actually, the kind of enduro length style V8 Supercar racing. Aiden Schultz has had an issue there that could cause our first, or bring out our first caution for the evening. Looks like we might have got away with it though. Lap 6. That first round, Jake, I believe was at Oran Park. How did you fare there? That's a difficult circuit to run at the best of times. Great place to race actually, just can be an easy one to bin it. Lots of runoff room of course. So Witcher and Skurlock here. Pit strategy is going to play a lot more of a significant role in this race. Of course, with those phases and having the caution periods to deliver those phases, it was easy for everyone to decide when they're going to jump in the pit lane, and also to save tyres at 25 and 50 laps. You knew you were going to get a new set. Not so much tonight. So that's going to change the dynamic of this one. A little bit of time management is going to be necessary, and a whole heap of pit strategy is going to come into play as well. So we'll see when drivers decide to do it, and how long they can hold on as well. Of course, the later you can hold it, you've got to really time when you run in through pit lane, so that you don't end up having really old tyres at the end and just losing lap pace, and not being able to do anything about it. So expect to see some activity around it. So to lap 80, if we don't get many cautions throughout the evening, and first stops I'm figuring will probably be somewhere around lap 35 to 40. They've got 3 sets of tyres and 1 fast repair. So for those of you new to watching iRacing, fast repair is as it sounds. It's the ability for the drivers to pop through pit lane, get any damage on the car fixed instantly. The drivers only have 1 of those, so they won't be wanting to avoid any early damage where they can, to make sure they don't have to use that up. I've seen drivers in the past accidentally forget to untick fast repair, So when they go in, they might have got the tiniest amount of damage on maybe one corner of the car or even underneath the car. And iRacing automatically fix it using it up, and then they needed it later in the race. So a little bit of more preparation involved for the drivers than last time was. There's a squeeze on the top section of the track there. Looked like the car, Stephen Williams' car, was just squeezing Christopher Finlay up into the wall. With 10 laps in, we've got a really strong pack at the front here of 7 cars. Witcher, Skurlock, Jager, Hurley, Spencer, Neal and Williams. I'm going to jump back to the second pack here. Christopher Finlay is just sort of in no man's land now. He's managed to make a little bit of a break for it, so he'll be wanting to close that up where he can. And then we do have battle pack developing here. Oh, as Derek Jacobs just hits the wall on the high line there. Just couldn't quite get that car to turn in as he wanted it to, so the line for the track still not quite clear. A few on the high, a few on the low. And getting a little bit more spread in the back of the field here. John Murphy battling with Paul Jackson. That's for 11th and 12th. And a little bit further back, this battle here between Nigel Patton and Steve Payne. And we've got Michael Shaw just bringing up the rear at the moment, just playing the waiting game. I think he's not lost this pack at all, so it's a long race, of course, and just want to be clean and make sure that you can maintain that consistency. So the 2 splits in the field, as you can see here, this is where all the action is. 5 wide, jump on board. See really close running there behind Skurlock and Jaeger and Witcher. A lot of the apron used there by Skurlock to try and generate pace in the car. Always seems to get the most out of it. Really good clean start here. 14 laps now to lap 15. Oh, Skurlock to get a little bit loose there. It's just managing to open up a gap over Jaeger. Well, it's only 3/10. 10 tyres in this one though, so 3/10 is enough. Let's try and break the draft if you can. Of course, these V8 Supercars not set up for oval track racing, so the race administrators have to do a fair amount of preparation to get them so that they would run here consistently. They're a little bit loose in the back. It's not all that surprising for a oval track car. Front of Justin Witcher's Commodore. You can see he's right on the back of Raymond Jaeger. Hashtag thanks CL to Craig Lowndes. Of course, that's Craig Lowndes livery on that Commodore. Just losing some mid-corner pace there in the Commodore. And he's just going to get some heavy pressure here. Oh, there's a big slide there from Sean Hurley. Just on that apron, got a little loose. Managed to grab it back though, which is a good thing. So, still got this pack, and I can tell you what as well, Christopher Finlay's jumped up onto the back of this pack too. so it's growing. It's been intense. 80 laps. If we keep up at this rate, it's just pit stops are going to be so crucial to make sure that the drivers are able to fight it out at the end. If you are in the chat, just let us know how your weekend's been and what you've spent it doing. Obviously, a couple of states reopening up as well, so people are able to get out and about. Just continues to grow here, so front drivers not able to get away. You can see how close the battle is right at the front there. Skurlock, Stevens and Jaeger under a tenth between them. Stayed this way for a while now. She's in that low to high line. Thanks for the like, Luke. Hope you're keeping well. Having a warm one for you today up in Bendigo, I imagine. So they're still trying to work out the lines on this one. You can see Skurlock there using the low line, and he uses a hell of a lot of the apron as well, trying to generate pace. Some in the middle lane. No one really using that high line yet. Just going to be interested to see with that change in format how the tyres wear and when everyone's going to jump in. Whether it's going to be a case of follow the leader. There's witches all over Williams. This is switching high to low here. See him here, he's going to dive down the inside, see if he can get the job done. Not quite able to, he's going to have to pull back in behind him there, and he does so. He's exposed there with Jaeger right behind him. Skurlock down on the inside now as well, trying to get his move finished. He's moving right up into the high line here. Try and pull it down low again. to effectively... Really don't want to get pinned up in that high line if you can avoid it. It really exposes you on the low side. It's kind of what's happening to Skurlock here. As you can see there, Sean Hurley trying to take advantage. Christopher Finlay trying to go with him. So they're 3 wide down the back straight. There's a little bit of a blink there for Sean Williams on the screen. It's definitely unsettling for the drivers behind him because they don't know where he's going to reappear on the screen, particularly when they're running this close together. See here Justin Witcher, Raymond Jager right up behind him. Witcher down on the inside. Just affected his run in as well. See there, Witcher just getting the nose up the inside. Potentially Skurlock here just saving some tyre. Not needing to lead the race on lap 30. Of course, you want to lead it on at lap 100. So the pit strategy here is going to be one of the big points to follow. So Michael Skurlock moves up into 3rd position. Got our first in pit lane, Steve Payne. Just jumped in. As you can see, looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the right-hand front corner of that Commodore. So maybe a little bit of a forced stop. He'll get that repaired. And we'll get it back out there. Just be interested to see if he ends up taking tyres or not. I think he probably will take tyres as well as getting the repairs done. So set each driver with 3 sets of tyres available to them. So we're on at lap 33 here. At Las Vegas. Under lights too. Hey Grizzy, thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're doing well. Just into lap 35 here for Oz Pro-Am. Oh no, my apologies for the V8 Supercar Oval Series, I should say. If you have just joined us, it's been like this the whole 36 laps so far. Drivers real close together in this leading pack. Look a little bit further back. We've now got basically 9 cars, excuse me, in this leading pack. And then we have Jackson, Murphy, Peyton, Shaw and Derek Jacobs following the rest. So there's the ladder 4 of Jackson, Murphy, Payton and Shaw. They're currently fighting it out for positions 10 through 13. Shaw gets a little bit high in the line there, but manages to pull it back down again. So the risk there is that you're going to end up in the wall. Yeah, the racing's been pretty good tonight, Grizzy, actually. It's been an extremely clean start, but it's been very, very close up the front. So we're very much going to get to pit stop territory shortly. Those tyres will be starting to complain. So we're on board here with Stephen Williams. We're just keeping an eye on this battle at the front. A little bit of a margin opening up there for Justin Witcher at the front of the field. Michael Skurlock has dropped back a little bit further now. Didn't see that happen while we were on the others, but and Skurlock actually jumps into pit lane, so he's the first of our front runners to get into pit lane. Maybe he's struggling with a little bit of tyre. Grizzy, the drafting mechanics, it just depends on the car that you're running. So drafting in the V8 Supercars actually isn't too bad at all. But at the track here, not quite such a big track like where if you're running at, say, Daytona, where drafting is definitely going to be able to be something that you can see. Just not so much here at Vegas. The speeds aren't high enough, so his V8 Supercars top out at around about 300 clicks, so
charging battery.
Just starting to see a fair few of our front runners making their way into pit lane, and I tell you what, trying to get pulled up as well to make sure they don't speed in pit lane. Roman Yeager continues on, but we have got Witcher, Williams, Hurley, Wellman, Spencer, Shaw, Jackson and Neil all in pit lane. Michael Skurlock's out of pit lane. Derek Jacobs has done his stop as well as Steve Payne. So around about lap 40, I think we said 40 was going to be the one. Looking at 40, probably lap 80, and then the run to the flag. Of course, dependent on there being no caution periods during that time. Give the drivers the free kick. But obviously not enough grip left in the tyres at this point in time for them to keep going. So we've got Yeager in now, and Nigel Patton's decided he's going to keep going. He is the only driver now out on track who has not made a stop so far. In that, I believe John Bow liveried Ford Falcon. He ran the Cat livery for a while before he stepped down from full-time driving. I think it went to FPV, so Patton there maybe a little late in getting that thing under the speed limit for pit lane. I'm not sure what the speed limit is here actually. It might be higher than the 80k an hour that we were expecting. So Justin Witcher resumes lead of the race. Done 44 of the 100 laps here in the Activity Hub Bali V8 Supercar Oval Series. You are on FGM eCast. Very quickly mention our supporters as well. Aftershock PC, your rig, your choice. They've got some fantastic Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales happening all week this week, including on the Hot to Trot new 30 series graphics cards. along with computers and things like that. So jump onto their Facebook page and give it a follow. Aftershock PC, because they will be releasing deals all week, they tell me. So you don't want to miss out on one of those. If you are in the market for a new PC, as their slogan says, it's your rig, it's your choice. But we certainly choose to run with Aftershock ourselves. And then beyond that, Virtual Motorsport Mentor. If you are into iRacing and you're looking to go faster, Virtual Motorsport Mentor, Chris Purnell and the team, the place to go. They will be able to help you not only with setting up your gear, but making sure that you optimize your performance. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or somebody at the front but looking to go a little bit faster, Chris Purnell and his team can help you out there. So jump on their website as well, virtualmotorsportmentor.com, and have a look at what they can do for you. So, I'm not sure how this has happened here, but Justin Witcher has got a huge gap. And in fact, if we do look at it, looks like he's shorter fueled than everyone. He was stopped for 4 seconds less than the balance of the pack. So, sort of got a little bit of a gap opening up here. Steve Williams, he's now 2 seconds out in second place from Barry Neal in third. So what we might do is just bring up this battle box yet again, so you can have a look, see how big the gaps have opened up now after pit lane. So whether that's just the difference in people getting into pit lane or not, I can tell you the total pit lane time is where a lot of these drivers have made up the difference, with the exception of Justin Witcher, who has actually had a stationary stop that's 3 seconds faster than Stephen Williams in second, and a whopping 6 seconds faster than just about the rest of the pack. So potentially just taking on less fuel and maybe going to have a longer second stop. Just wanting to get some clear air, get out of the pack, maybe roll the dice for a caution period as well to see if they can get away with getting some work done then. So he's Justin Witcher now 6 seconds up from Barry Neal in third place. See, that's a huge advantage. And then the battle sort of resumes back here with Sean Hurley, Gary Wellman, Michael Skurlock, all within QE of one another. So halfway there. And it's been all green flag running, which is great to see. So we like the cautions to spice things up a little bit. But prefer to see the drivers battle it out with their wares. So the gap at the front's widened out as well. So these pack here is going to have to work together to try and catch their way back up to those leaders, try and address some of the gap. We'll have to probably fuel longer, I think, into the next session. Now we're based out of Melbourne in Australia. Grizzy, what about yourself, mate? Where are you joining the stream from? If they can work together, they should be able to. The pack's now bulked out to 7 cars. They have to use one another to be able to punch a big hole in the air and potentially catch back up onto the back of Barry Neal. He is running solo at the moment. Albeit his the lap times of our front 3 cars, almost identical last time around. So we're all closing up here from the west coast of the US. Welcome. East coast, I should say, of the US. Welcome. Yeah, it can be one of the downsides, Grizzy, is the point or the price of entry into iRacing, and it's one of the reasons why it probably isn't as much a thing for some people to jump on and stream and do things like that because of the barrier to entry. So. Ed, you're right, mate. If they don't do that, they probably won't get very far in these. Let's see them sort of make up the gap a little earlier on in the stream. They haven't done too much since then. Everyone on slightly varied pit strategies here, so there's some gap to be made up there. Front runners gambling a little bit on the potential for a caution period, I think. They're short fueled. Grizzy, no, there's not at this stage, mate. There are some series that run with prize money involved, but these guys just Activity Hub Bali sponsor a couple of different race series that they run. Always there's a touch there. Almost off for our first caution period. Some good control, managing to stop that from happening. But no, there's plenty of smaller series that do have prize money, but this series is very much in its infancy. It's its first season. So just bedding the rules down a bit, making sure that the racing's good for the drivers is their main mandate. And also just something a little bit different too. So there's lots and lots of series that you can run on iRacing on oval. Not too many with the V8 Supercar, of course, can't with the intended purpose to do what it's doing. So maybe one day. Skurlock drops right down to the apron there. Sure what happened there, but it's right down to the inside, so I just wanted to jump on the back of the pack, and he's actually jumped into pit lane. So this is an interesting move from him. Let's jump on board here, see what he's doing. From here, he should be able to get to the end, but his tyres will be pretty average at the end of 40 laps. And he did only pit last. Was our first of the front runners to pit, which was on about lap 39. So definitely a routine stop. Justin Witcher still out in front. The gap there's dropped now to 3.7 seconds between himself and Steve Williams. Just keeping an eye on the pit time there. So Skurlock out. A rapid, a rapid pit stop for him. Much shorter at 49 seconds, 18 seconds stopped time. And Ed, I agree with you completely. I think getting out of the traffic is going to help him. Of course, very seasoned racer. Michael Skurlock, multiple race winner here. And in fact, our only driver, I think, to take out all 3 phases in one evening when we were doing that. So he'll know what he's doing. So be looking to see Witcher pit in, I'd say, on around lap 80. If he doesn't choose to take the early jump. It's been very clean racing tonight. In fact, that bump that we saw just before is pretty much the only incident for the entire race so far. And obviously a fairly innocuous bump that it was. It's well saved to present that caution period. So that margin has dropped slightly back. So it's well under 6 seconds now from Barry Neal to Raymond Yeager behind him. John Murphy, one of our stateside drivers, has jumped into the pits as well. So he should be fueled to the end. I guess the only alternative thing here as well is if there is a late caution period, jumping in and throwing on another set of tyres might be something that Skurlock may want to do, but I reckon he can make it to the end from here. It's a matter of how bad the tyres get. It did seem to drop off for him towards the end of the first stint. Maybe about lap 36 or 37. He just lost pace with the leaders, which is what he jumped into pit lane. No, well, thanks for jumping on, 77 Carbo. There's been no need for him to do anything. There's just been nothing going on. It's been a very, very placid race this evening. Maybe something to do with the heat, but certainly also to do with the lack of the phases tonight as well. So we've had no caution periods whatsoever. So the pack's spread out. Everyone's got into their own groove, and yeah, no one's needed to have anything. Did suspect that there might have been a little bit of speeding in pit lane, but that didn't come to fruition. For the drivers just managing to get the cars pulled up on the entry into pit lane for that first round of pit stops. So, but it's basically as well, they've decided to run with only any issues, or sorry, I should say, they've decided to run only with the iRacing penalties that get handed down, and they'll do investigations after the race for racing incident. I'm sure he just wants to enjoy running in the series himself. He's currently sitting in 10th. So Witcher and Williams now in pit lane. So we'll see what their stationary time is going to be comparison. So Skurlock there did 49, transition 18.7. So here we go. Just stick on board here with Witcher. Let's have a look at how long he's going to drop. Remember, he picked up 3 seconds in the first pit stop for that short pit. And yeah, he's already gone past Skurlock's 18 seconds, so it's a much, much longer pit stop here. 27, 28, 29. It's really got to hurt him there, and in fact, it is Steve Williams is going to get out. Is he just in front? Side by side, leaving pit lane. So costly there. Don't know if he's slightly overfueled or not, but that has put Steve Williams out on the list in front. So Raymond Jaeger now leading the race at the moment in the number 23 Autobahn livery car. Some lap traffic there as well. I believe they're on the low side. That is the number 4 car of Derek Jacobs, the Rusty's entry. For those of you who've got kids, you'll definitely know that. In fact, if you don't have kids, you'll maybe know who that is. So Jaeger yet to pit, but I can tell you there's going to be some correction here with the longer stops that are going to need to be made by Witcher and Williams. Michael Skurlock now sitting just about half a second behind them on track. So once this all adjusts itself, it's going to be that lead bunch again. We're going to end up with probably about 7 or 8 cars together in a really, really close window as we head into the final 25 laps. Yeah, the field tonight's been pretty good. They benefiting actually from having a slightly smaller field here, just to get the racing a little bit cleaner. As you know from your time in Ann's car, long time in Ant's car, sometimes a bigger field isn't necessarily conducive to better racing. So it's good. We've got 2 packs around about the same sort of 8 to 10 cars at the front, and then another pack of half a dozen cars as well. So Michael Shaw himself actually just runs in a pit lane in the Activity Hub sponsored car. Yeah, I was just going to say 77, there might have been double the cars, but in round 1 we spent 38 laps of a 100 lap race under caution, so just trying to get it down so there's a little bit more racing and a little bit less driving around, so to speak. So just continue to make changes, as all these young series do when they're starting to develop and grow. They go through the process of just adjusting and changing things to make sure that it provides good racing as well as everything else. So Derek Jacobs in the pit lane now, as well as Greg Spencer. So we're starting to see pretty much the whole field now. We've got 7 drivers left having not made their second stop. 22 laps to go, so something going to start getting desperate here. Raymond Jaeger pitted on lap 42, so he is very much getting into the window. One of my favourite liveries, actually, that Autobahn livery. It looks fantastic. Yeah, Warpum, they have. So obviously these things, as I said, take time to get things done. And they obviously take time to sort out as well. So with new series and new administrators and stuff like that, once they get up and running, generally the standard improves. There's a lot of work that goes into running these things and getting them set up. And of course, most of the guys that do it are volunteers. Just do it for the love of it and having something to run and won. So maybe if you enjoyed it on in the first race, maybe give it another go. Jump back into the Facebook group and have a chat and see if they can get you back through. As our race leader now jumps into pit lane. So final stop for Raymond Yeager. He'll be fueled up to the end. See where this finishes, sorting everything out. So this stage, the gap. So we're just jumping around, things moving in front of us here. So at the moment, our lead car, who has done 2 pit stops, is actually Barry Neal. But his last stop was on lap 72. So he will go through to the end. So pitting early and getting the advantage of it. Raymond Yeager in pit lane, obviously, along with Christopher Finlay. Nigel Patton has just jumped into pit lane 2. And it won't be long until Paul Jackson does as well, I am sure. So Barry Neal, effective race leader at the moment. In the Ayatollah Racing entry, I believe. Great job too, up 13 spots from his qualifying position 16th at the moment. Currently officially in 3rd, but Nigel Patton has just gone past him. Paul Jackson has also ducked into pit lane. So the field will start to finally sort itself. So it is Neal from Witcher, Williams, Wellman and Skurlock, effectively our top 5 as we head into the final portion of this race. Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Wapum. If you do reactivate your account, jump in and have another run. As I said, you'll find things have changed a fair bit in this series. So get back in and have another go on your Sunday night. So Neal's got a good gap here. He's 5 seconds in front of Witcher and Williams. So you'd like to think, it's just Michael Shaw just behind him there, you'd like to think that unless there's anything else going on, that he's probably going to make his way through for the win here. Because 5 seconds is a heck of a gap. Witcher and Williams still fighting it out here, a 10th between them. And we've got Wellman, Yeager, Jackson, Skurlock, Finlay, Hurley and Spencer rounding out our top 10. And gone through all of the pit stops. Just a 10th between them. I'll tell you what, as well, William and Yeager, that battle there, not sorted out at all. See there, the draft benefiting Yeager as he pulls up alongside now. Running that middle lane. Haven't really identified much of a lane tonight. Much of a preferred one for the drivers. Each to their own. I said earlier on, no need here for Michael Shaw not to be all over the back of Barry Neal. There's no blue flags in this. He's got every right to race to try and unlap himself. 13 to go. 12 left here in Vegas. So again, there you got Witcher on the low line, Williams in the middle lane, middle to top lane actually. Raymond Jaeger's closed right up on the back of them here as well. So he's in the battle for the podium. Close between Gary Wellman and Paul Jackson behind them. So with the exception of our leader, we've got 5 cars here that are going to be out fighting it out for the rest of the podium. Starting to look like that slightly higher line is preferable. Stephen Williams just keeping himself in front there with that one. Lots of pressure here still. Derek Jacobs jumps into pit lane. John Murphy in pit lane as well, so he's got some significant damage there. He's actually out of the race. He's getting it repaired, but it looks like he's not going to finish tonight, which is a shame. Our first casualty of the evening. We're still not over here for second and third on the podium, which are Williams, Jackson, Jaeger, and Gary Wellman fighting hard. Move down on the inside there for Jaeger. Just trying to get out. There's a little bit of boxing going on, which as you would expect. Cars look fantastic, and drivers doing a brilliant job to put on a show here tonight. The racing's nice and close. Our race leader Barry Neal 6 seconds up the road. He is just getting that one through to the end. This is where all the action is though. As Paul Jackson moves his way up. He's right on the back of Steve Williams. Justin Witcher just down on the inside of him here. He's going to try and box him in. Oh, it looks like there's a touch. Oh, he's done well to avoid that. Just jumped down onto the apron. Oh, and there is a bit more as well. Starting to get a little bit loose here towards the end. That was Jaeger and Wellman, I think. That's going to hurt them. They should get back into the pack though. Maybe not Wellman. He might be too far back. Just not quite sure that Jaeger saw him then. You see, it all depends on the setup these guys are running. If they're in VR, if they've got triple monitors, if they've got a single monitor, whatever they've got. Being able to see what's going on around you. Also, blind spots in these V8 Supercars reasonably prevalent. And that's allowed Steve Williams off the hook a little bit. He's half a second up now. These three need to stay in the line, work together. There's only 5 to go. Try and reattach themselves back onto the back of Williams. Fight it out for those podium positions. Barry Neal still out in front. Just commenced lap 97. 96, my apologies. Justin Witcher. Paul Jackson. the focus here with 3 laps to go. Jump on board with Barry Neal as he goes to close this one out in a moment. Just keep an eye here to see what happens. Raymond Jaeger just lurking in the background here still. Trying to make up from that little touch, and he's got right onto the back there. He's got a really, really good run. It's helped him jump back on the back. The 21 car of Witcher. Seems to have fallen off a little bit again there. Just a 10th. Maybe camera angle fooling me a little bit there. 2 laps remaining. Get the white flag next time around. In fact, Barry Neal almost there. And there it is, we're on the final lap here at Vegas. And the placings are all that remain to be decided. Barry Neal a whopping 7 seconds nearly in front last time around. Jump on board with him as he rounds the final turn. He's going to head across the start-finish line and take the win here. A really, really good race. Great strategy from Barry Neal as well. So we'll jump back on here. Let's see here as Jackson and Witcher getting the run to the flag. Looks like it's going to be Jackson who's done it. By 5/100ths of a second, he's managed to pull it out and get the job done. So it is Barry Neal, Stephen Williams and Paul Jackson taking it in Vegas. That is your podium for this evening. Great race tonight. No caution periods at all. Fantastic drive by all of the field to get through this one with no caution periods whatsoever. Well done to them all. As I said, Barry Neal, he ran the pit a little early, lap 70. Everyone else jumped in late 70s or around lap 80, and that played in his favour. Took the race from nowhere, really. Up 15 places from his qualifying position too. So he'll be very pleased with that outcome. And of course his teammate joins him on the podium as well, Paul Jackson in 3rd. So a really good night for the Aotearoa Racing boys who get 1st and 3rd here at Vegas. They'll be joining us in the comm booth very shortly, so don't go anywhere. I'll have a quick chat with them about the race tonight. Steve Williams, the thorn in the middle. He equally had a really strong run, up 5 spots. Paul Jackson 12 spots as well, so not quite getting the qualifying stuff done, but getting it done in the race. So just waiting for Neal and Jackson to jump in and join us. As we get through this one. So got Barry Neal and Steve Williams with us. We'll start out with you, Barry. Just waiting for Paul to jump in as well. Congratulations on the race win. 15 spots up and a cracking finish.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a great race. It was always like it when you have to lift off and kind of manage your tyres a little bit. But it was a good race. I love racing when there's no yellows as well. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously 100 laps there with no caution periods whatsoever. In fact, there's only 2 small bumps in the whole race that could have even transpired into it. So a really clean run for everyone. And you managed to play it out a little bit as well in the pit stop. So you did pit a little bit early for your last stop, but it ended up with, once the field all trickled through, you ended up with a 5-second gap at the back end of the pit stops.
Yeah, no, I like that last stint. I split it exactly in half. That first stint I went a bit further than a third of the race, and then for the last half of the race I split exactly in half. So I decided that there was no reason to stay out in case of yellow, since there weren't any. I'd take the hit then. But if you have two 30-lap stints as opposed to a 40 and a 20, you're going to get more speed because you got your tyres fresher.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steve, congratulations to you as well, mate. A thorn in the middle there of the Aotearoa Racing boys. A strong second place.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. Pretty happy with that. I think I put a little... I didn't realise how much I'd lost at first. But other than that, it wasn't bad. Nice, pretty clean race, really.
Yeah, and then we had a good group of... Well, there was probably... At one stage there was 9 cars involved in the lead pack, all running nose to tail for the whole race without any incident at all. It was really good to watch.
Yeah, everyone was giving each other room, and yeah, it was good.
Series continues to improve in terms of the driving standards as well. We're joined by Paul Jackson too. Congratulations, Paul, on your 3rd position tonight.
Thanks, mate. Good to finally be back on the podium after the first 2 weeks and then some dismal results, but finally got back here.
Yeah, and a really strong performance tonight as well. I mean, in qualifying, probably a little lower than potentially where you wanted to be, but up 12 spots at the end in the race, which is a fantastic result.
Yeah, man. Qualifying wasn't the best, but we're pretty happy with the results, and sort of short stop in the pit stops early and pushed us through the pack, so got up there.
And obviously a 1-3 for the team, so a good result for that as well.
Pretty happy with that. Yep, first time we got both cars on the podium,
which is good. And obviously what we always do as well, Barry, just anyone that you want to thank as a consequence of the podium tonight.
Oh, I want to thank my my teammate Paul, because he got me into racing in a team. That was really good. And can I just get you on the pronunciation? It's Aotearoa is the team name.
Is it? Okay, I'll have to work on that. I thought I was doing well enough to get Aotearoa out, so that's fine. I will. I'll get some tips from you on it as well to get it right. So apologies for that.
Yeah, no. It's so if you don't know, Aotearoa is the Māori name for New Zealand, land of the long white cloud.
I did actually know that. I just didn't know I was pronouncing it wrong, which I've been doing my entire life. So I'll get some tuition from you on that a little bit later on.
Cool, thanks, and thanks for doing the broadcast. I come back and watch it at times after the race. It's always good to see a different perspective on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think tonight will be one of the best ones, so make sure you jump back and have a look at it, of course, with you taking out the win as well. Paul, yourself, anyone that you want to thank for tonight?
Thanks to Barry, obviously teammate as well. He's doing a great job. To yourself for broadcasting, we missed you last week. And Shorey, he's doing a fantastic job running the league as well. I know there's been some hard decisions and whatnot to make, and he's doing a great job. And also Brad Ellison, be good to see him back out on the track, but I know he's doing a lot of work behind the scenes as well.
Absolutely. And Steve, last but not least.
Yeah, just thank all the broadcast team and the series organisers. Great job they do. And simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Bandmax Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Service, and all the boys at DPR Racing.
Excellent. It's nice to hear a good long list of supporters as well. So if you are listening and watching, jump on and support the people that support the guys doing what they love doing as well. It certainly makes the wheels spin. So that's almost it for us tonight. Next Sunday evening, we head to the Auto Club Speedway in California for our next event here. It'll be another 100-lap race, kicking off at the same time, so 7:30 daylight savings time in Oz, or 9:30 in NZ if you are joining us from across the ditch. And we'll kick it off for another 100-lap race. Hopefully it'll be nice and close like it was tonight. That will make for good viewing. So from wherever you're joining us from, thank you very much for tuning in. I know the chat was pretty busy tonight as well, so thanks to everyone who's jumped in and watched. We will be back on Tuesday night with the next instalment of OzPass, where we head to Le Mans for the first of our Enduro rounds for that series as well. So look forward to that. That's on from 7:30 Tuesday evenings on FGM eCast, your place for pace. Thanks very much for joining us, and we will catch you on Tuesday evening.